Hey guys, we're back. This time we're taking a look at Kluster from Borderline Games. And this one's been around for a while. There's a bunch of different versions of it. I think this is one of the original, if not the original. I'm sure somebody will correct me on that if I'm not right. But it is a very simple game. There are tons of knockoffs and other versions of it out there. This is what like I said, I think was the original, but it's the more popular version that I know of. So that's the one I went with. Anyway, we're going to get inside here and take a look. There's not a whole lot in this game, but it's kind of fun, and I enjoy it. But we got our bag with our pieces in there, and we got our instruction book. And that's like everything that came in here. I think there's a little, yeah, there's a little warning label in here too. Because this game does involve magnets, so they have some warning labels. Keep them away from your computer, things like that. That's all that paper is. The rule book is literally like a couple pages. It's actually backward. Yeah, it's upside down. How does this work? Maybe it oh, it folds out. Okay. I love the little comic strip. And then, yeah, so there's really one-page rules here. Setup. And then, yeah, see, these are different languages. You got it in French and German as well. So that's literally the entire rules section right there. There is not much to that. There is a solo version. There's also an expansion to this, which I'll get into at the end. But there's a video on here with how to play, which helps too. But there's not a whole lot to learn, so we can set that aside for now. In our spiffy bag here, we've got, I gotta zoom out a little bit here, this orange string. This is how you know it's the original one, because it's orange. I've seen a bunch of these with different colors. Now, the one thing with this is, it is quite large, this string. And for your first game, it's no big deal. But then after that, you're going to want to make it a little smaller. You can tie the knot smaller here to make the circle smaller. You can try different designs, make it into a square instead of a circle, all kinds of things. But you'll see quickly that as you learn the game, the normal full-size circle is just a bit too easy. And you'll see in a minute here. The other thing we have are 24 of these magnets. I think they're hematite stones they magnetized. I'm not positive, but that's what they look like anyway. Maybe they're just polished to look like it. And you split these up into 2 stacks of 12 or 4 stacks of 6, depending on the number of players. And what you're going to do is you each have your stack, and you want to keep them farther away from the board than this, but I'm just trying to keep them on camera. And you're going to take turns placing a stone in here. And then you go one here. And they go one here. And ideally, you'd think, well, if you put them around the edges first, it'll be fine. But the thing is to make as few places for your opponent to put them as possible. And what's going to happen is eventually this is going to fill in, and you get less and less places where you can safely go. And then you start to run into a problem like this. Where do I put this? Well, I can try right here. That's not bad. And then this one can go here. But as you start whittling down your numbers, you're going to have to start placing them closer and closer to other stones. And the problem with these, now I'm playing on a textured surface here. This is like felted leather. So it makes it a little easier. If you play this on a hard table surface, it's very difficult. But what happens here is the longer you can play. And this right now I'm showing how easy it is with this big of a circle. But you start running out of room of places to put your pieces. And what's going to happen eventually is that somebody is going to go to stick one down, and there's not going to be any more room, which we may... Oh, there, did it right there. So that putting that down repelled this one. It slid over, touched these. I have to pick these up. Oh, and I did it again somewhere. And add them to my hand. So now I have that many more to get rid of. And this keeps going, and as you're putting them down, that's going to happen eventually. Now you can get into a cool situation. Again, it's harder to do on this textured surface, but you can use the magnetism of these. Oh, did it the opposite way. There's a way to get these just right. And instead of attracting, they should push each other away. There we go. So say you want to put it here, but you can't, I don't think it's going to fit there without attracting something, but I can take this, push that away without touching it because I'm using the magnets. But if it sticks to something, I'm stuck with that, like that. And the smaller the play area is, the harder that becomes. And we did, if you really want to go all insane, we did one the other day like this. And that's rough because, yeah, you have way less space of where you can go. And eventually you start filling these in much quicker. And it's just a really simple, let's say I even screwed up there, but I'm trying to hurry and just get some stuff out there. And one of the things you can do is while you're pulling your magnets off, because they'll stick together in these stacks like this, if you pull one off, flip it over before you set it down, it reverses the polarity, it pushes things away from it instead of pulls it towards, which can also cause issues, but there's a lot of fun little strategies you can do with this to really make it more of a game. And yep, things like that happen. Now you pick these up and add them. And the idea is to get rid of all of the magnets in your hand. A super simple game, super simple concept, but it's just fun to play, and it's like infinite replayability, at least as far as the multiplayer goes. Now the solo game, you're supposed to take this in the full circle here, and the idea is to place every single magnet within the circle. And at least with the full-size circle, the problem I have with that is once you've done it once, it's like a puzzle you're solving. Once you've done it once, it's really easy to do it again. So that kind of sucks in that respect. But again, you can make the circle smaller, you can make different shapes, and it really changes the aspect of the game. If you were to make an oval like this instead of a circle, that would be a completely different game. So, interesting things you can do. I do think the circle is just a hair big in stock from the factory, but it's great for your first couple games to learn. The bags are a durable cloth. It's not that silk stuff that attracts dust and from hair. And this is, I think, screen printed on or vinyl on there, so I don't know how the durability is on that or how long it's going to last, but it's not like you're doing much with the bag. The circle folds right up in here. I've even seen people take different colored strings and make different colored circles for difficulty. But your magnets go in there. You can carry just this. It is a lot heavier than you would expect due to the weight of the magnets, so keep that in mind. But you can carry that little pouch around if you wanted to instead of the whole box. I don't think the box is that big, so it doesn't bother me. But again, it's quite a bit heavier than you would think, so keep that in mind. Overall, though, I think Kluster is a great little game. It's a fun little family game. Anybody of any age can play. And it is just a fun and entertaining little game. Just screwing around with magnetic fields. It's also a learning tool. You can use it to teach things with magnetic fields and polarities. Like I said, by flipping the magnets over and using them to push instead of pull and things like that. There's a lot of cool little things you can learn and teach with it. There is an expansion to this. I think it's called Kluster Duo. And it has different shaped magnets. They have like little they're not really egg shaped, but they're, what the term is for that. They're very long oval, but they're round on the other side. They tend to roll and they also spin, and the poles are on the ends, so they can cause all kinds of havoc with the game. You can mix and match pieces from that with this for a very interesting experience. This does play up to 4 players in the box. You split them down. It is a lot easier to win with 4-player though, because you only have 6 magnets to get rid of, and all it takes is one person to get a bunch to clump together or cluster together, which is the point of it. And then you have a whole pretty much empty board on your turn, and you just put yours out there. So it seems to be a lot easier to get rid of 6 before you make a mistake and have to pick some up. So I would suggest maybe buying 2 boxes and keep it a larger circle or something like that. Just give them more than 6. 6 just doesn't seem like enough to me. Maybe combine this with the duo because that adds a huge difference, especially if you're playing on a smooth surface. I do recommend that, a wooden tabletop or something instead of this textured material, because it makes them slide together or apart much easier. This gives them resistance, so it's a lot more forgiving on this than it is on a hardwood table. But anyway, that is our look at Kluster, and hope it helps you decide if it's something you're interested in. If it is, check it out. I know it's available on Amazon plus a ton of other places. There are cheaper knockoff versions. Well, I shouldn't say knockoff, but there are cheaper versions of it out there. I don't think it's trademarked. There's tons of different ones out there. The catch to some of those other ones I've seen, though, is that they use just plain magnets, where these use the stones. The stones are a lot more durable. The magnets tend to chip when they hit together, especially if they, if they're clustering in a big pile. They tend to chip off, and that can be dangerous if you got little kids and things around. So you get sharp edges and whatnot, little pieces. The other thing to keep in mind is these are pretty strong magnets. Keep them away from electronics. There's a big warning label thing in there for that. So also keep them away from little kids who might put them in their mouths. Same with any kind of magnet. That's bad. You don't want that to happen. Other than that, though, it's a great little game, and definitely looking forward to finding a copy of Kluster Duo and adding that to my collection as well. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.